Right, let's go live on this. Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 24th of July. So, what we got in store for today? So, first things first, just looking at the news here, which could have an impact on the markets. We've got the Euro data, the flash manufacturing data out this morning. Then we've got the UK data later this morning. And then later this afternoon, we've got the US data. So it's a day of services and manufacturing PMI. A lot more focus on the services for most of these countries now. Although you can't discount looking at the PMI, particularly manufacturing data, particularly for Germany. There, massively, such a low figure. Extremely, not massively, extremely low. But we'll see what develops in terms of this. In fact, let me just update this and see what the forecasts are now. This was from last week. Okay, it's gonna give me this week, would be good. Oh, it's got the forecasts in. Okay, so forecasts are generally looking through services not so good. Okay, they're not too distant from where they were last time. So that's the key thing. I think this week it's not really about today, tomorrow. It's all about Wednesday and Thursday, particularly Wednesdays to start off with. We've got the Fed meeting on Wednesday in the evening there at 7 p.m. and then on Thursday we've got the ECB meeting at the announcement comes out at 1:15 and the conference is at 1:45. So that's what we're really looking forward to. In fact, on Friday we've got the Bank of Japan there as well. So three central banks, large central banks, going for it this week. So expectation is there's not going to be any change of policy from the Bank of Japan. However, that's what they've been saying. Whether that's what they do is another matter. Right. So what could certainly be a volatile at times and choppy at other times market. Let's have a look at where we are today, starting off looking at the euro dollar, and well, we've seen it sell off already on Thursday. Friday it didn't really move too much. It's just consolidating here, and as you can see on the 4 hourlies, didn't really do too much at all. And there's the pattern, and there's the uncertainty. This is a good barometer of the dollar index, as it forms such a high percentage of it. So just not putting a lovely flag on Friday there, beg pardon. Never so far hasn't gone down to the sort of expectations or the expected target. If you traded that one, the pound also put one in, and it did. So the pound sold off on Friday. Sorry, I've still got an alert sitting on that at the moment, catching a bit of a bounce this morning, and it's a minor bounce when you look at it on this 4 hourly basis. Lower highs, lower lows. We've got to wait an extra week for the Bank of England data. Now, if we start seeing this selling off below the daily pivot today, that's certainly a much more bearish picture. It did manage on Friday to get down to my target of the S1. Maybe if we see a breakdown here, we'll see a similar thing, giving us a double bottom, in which case you've got to be a bit careful there from there onwards. But we'll see. Dollar yen, well, the yen has been softening. On Friday we saw it move massively there. It's just softened here leading into this week's data. Remember that the US data is going to affect it as well because it's a US dollar yen, so hence why we're probably seeing this consolidated phase here. Most of these major pairs, dollar backed pairs, are going to be much more consolidated, and we're seeing a similar case. The Australian dollar barely moved through the Asian session here. Again, just consolidating where it is, so no big surprises. US dollar CAD bounced up on Friday, just everything just softened against the US dollar there. US dollar strength coming through as people wonder what. And again, just consolidating here. Another one that was a flag on Friday. Eventually got up there and started moving. Consolidating where it is in the moment and not looking particularly attractive. New Zealand dollar, same thing in terms of the consolidation to a degree. It's trickled down a little bit. Solid sell-off last week. Lower highs kicking in here. Really looking, it's sitting on its quarterly pivot here. I'd quite like to see what happens if it was to. I'm looking for the short side, not the long side. Really like to see what happens if it was to come back up to its weekly pivot there, but that might occur later in the week. So US dollar Swissy just on the short term, just chopping away here. So same old story across pairs. I was looking for something a little bit more maybe, but again, consolidation here on the euro yen. Doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at it. The pound is a similar case of chop from Friday. Started moving on Friday and just only to give it all back. My fallback pairs: Euro Aussie, Euro CAD. Euro Aussie is hanging in the midst of nowhere really at the moment, and the Euro CAD, which is the preferred one of them, has sort of changed tack here. It put the low in on Friday, and since then it's put a higher low in, and it's just looking like, well, it's got more scope for the upside, although it hasn't caught the daily pivot here. I'd just be wary even of this as I look at it this morning, in case it just runs into chop and roll. Okay, pound pairs are not a lot better here. Pound CAD, for example, little drift there's maybe showing the signs of the CAD weakening against its until you get down to the Aussie CAD, in which case it's not really weakening, it's just consolidating. So lots of consolidation. Personally, I'm going to sit this out and see what happens this earlier shift, and see if there's anything that sets up across any of the pairs. When we've had the European data out, so look at the cross pairs with the euro. Not really looking to trade the euro dollar at the moment, it's just too consolidated, but I'll look at the cross pairs. So that's the plan for this morning. Quick view of other markets then. We'll start off looking at gold. And well, gold Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all 3 days selling off there again. Not massively convincing, but still got scope to push up. I mean, I think this is really, this lays in the balance. I mean, on the bigger picture, you could argue that this is a bit of a bear flag still sitting in there. I think we've really got to wait for the Fed data to come out there. Clock it sold instead of triggered the long side of things. Targets would have been difficult with the prior highs there anyway, but we'll see what develops out of that this morning. I'm still biased towards the upside on that for now. Just waiting for setups to occur. Okay, let's look at the equity markets briefly then, and looking at the CSI 300, still bearish on this, and it's still dropping. It's certainly a swing low. Well, maybe not so easy to get into at this point, but certainly looks soft. The Nikkei, I was wondering whether we would see the sell-off below the Friday's close there, but we've seen a little pull up here. I'm still looking to see if we get a breakdown here, although not really wanting to sell into these prior highs, but it is putting signs in, particularly if it crosses below the low of the Wednesday 12th there. It will give us yet another lower high and look softer. Nifty 50 has been the darling of the markets, and well, okay, it's had a little retrace, but largely bullish. It's still sitting in that sort of bullish trend at this stage. The Aussie 200, well, we had the reaction to the double top last week. Friday picked back up again, but it's struggling where it is, and we may well get into a bit of a channel from this. looking at the US markets, the S&Ps, again solid up there, but consolidating up in these highs here. Certainly wouldn't be looking to sell it, but don't want to be buying it there either. would rather a better retrace to be buying from. Again, Dow Jones, same. It looks like it's got further scope. I need to come out onto the bigger time frames to look at actually what's going on here. And well, it's broken its prior highs here. It's got this inverted head and shoulder pattern on the weeklies here. Still got scope for the upside, and probably enough to on a retrace to be buying into. The Nasdaq again is pushed up there, still in this strong upward trend. Yes, it might pull back a little bit further, just like the others, but it might just give us opportunities to buy rather than anything else. The DAX not looking great, but holding up there, just chopping. And it's again, I think the ECB meeting in this case may just have to wait for the extra day and see what happens there. But it's looking quite ugly here, and again for me, probably best avoided. It's just so on Friday. Look at that mess. There's no trend. You've got to sort of take it back, if you know, to the point. So there was trend both ways, and it was easier to trade. This isn't easy to trade here from what we're seeing, and when it's like this, if it's the only market you look at, I wouldn't look at it. Right, finally, let's have a look at what's happened over in the world of crypto over the weekend. Let's just come back to the 60. Not a lot then. No surprise then. Bitcoin really just still in that range, looking softish in it where it is in the range. Likewise with Ethereum, could see a breakdown at some stage. We saw some half decent moves in the likes of Chainlink last week, but even that's now coming back. Southbound here, maybe some profit taken over the weekend, just not looking like any of them have really got a lot of drive in them, any real demand. It's just the occasional blips. A couple of weeks ago Solana pushed up there but pulling back now. Ripple had the news, it drove up there, but it's stalled. That was it. It's not seen the continuation many might have hoped or thought would come there. So there we go. Anyway, that's it really for today. I wish you a great day's trading. I think it's going to be a few days of sitting on hands. If you got the quick button finger, patience is a main thing here. Have a good one. Bye for now.